Hello. So today I'd like to talk about two books by Eckhart Tolle. His first book, The Power of Now, and what I believe was his third book, A New Earth. I love both these books, and I love them not because they were enjoyable reads, but because they transformed the way I perceive things. In essence, what these books did for me was help me to understand what enlightenment means, in the Eastern sense of that term. For example, I knew about the concept of the ego, the I within us, and how it's actually an illusion, a mental construct of the brain. And I also knew from doing yoga the importance of being present, being in the now. But for whatever reason, I hadn't taken these and other concepts and put them together into a coherent whole. Well, Eckhart's books did that for me. He clarified everything for me, and he did so in a very clear and concise manner. So what does all this mean? Well, it means that because I now understand what enlightenment is, I am now on the path to enlightenment, for lack of a better way of putting it. I wouldn't say that I had a sudden moment of enlightenment such as Eckhart describes happened to him, but I would say that I passed through, or rather passed over a certain threshold that I was already building toward. But once you pass that threshold, suddenly the whole world looks and feels different. I'll give you just one example of what I mean. Before reading these books, I had a great deal of anxiety about things both big and small. But after reading the books, my anxiety has more or less vanished. Still there, but it's dissipated quite a bit. Like I said, I wouldn't say I'm fully enlightened, but because I perceive everything in such a different light now, things which used to bother me don't. To paraphrase Eckhart, I've come to realize that it's not about solving problems so much as it is about realizing that there are no problems to begin with. Now, I've talked a lot about myself in this video and very little about the books I'm recommending. The reason for that is these books aren't really about accumulating knowledge. They're about putting into practice what he discusses and becoming enlightened as a result. And thus, I felt the best way to discuss them was to discuss their actual effect on me. And that effect has been wonderful. And I should point out that I wasn't expecting that when I sat down to read them. I didn't really know much about the books, and so I was just expecting to gain some knowledge, and that was it. I didn't come to them expecting my life to be transformed. But it was. Which is why, if you feel anxious, or if you've got a lot of fears in your life, or you simply don't feel like you've figured out what life is really all about, I highly recommend you read these books. And read them both, because it wasn't until I got to the second book where I really felt the change, the transformation in me. Of course, he has other books as well, so if you can't get your hands on these, you might try those books and come back to these two when you get a chance. He also does YouTube videos, so if you prefer listening to reading, you can start watching those videos like right now. So yeah, go to it. Peace.